Soup, soup, let's start the show.
Welcome to the Neverdaily podcast. If you like penis colostrum
We're
in the
getting run
pouring
down the
mountain
drains.
rain. If you like Drake, add all
Hey.
your retarded. All right, so I'm
Canadian is lame.
gonna mess with everybody. Again, I apologize about saying if you like penis colostrum. That's a terrible visual.
It's also a real issue for tens of Americans.
Yeah. But I'm going to mess with you for a second with regard to that song. If you've ever heard it, if you like pina coladas, right? The song's title is actually Escape. Maybe a lot of people don't know that. And it was by Rupert Holmes. Fun fact to know and share. It was the last #1 song on the U.S. charts in the 1970s. So after that song, every #1 song was from the 80s.
It was probably the last #1 song that said the word pina colada in it, too.
Could be. It was also a top 30 hit in New Zealand and Belgium. Thanks for your waffles. The Netherlands and the UK. And if you are like me and believed that Belgium and the Netherlands were sort of the same place, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
And also thank you, Belgium, for Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. Okay, so here's where I'm going to read you the lyrics of Escape. You ready for this? We all know the pina colada part, but here's how the song goes. I was tired of my lady. We'd been together too long. Like a worn-out record of a favorite song. So while she lay there sleeping, I read the paper in bed. And in the personal columns, there was this letter I read. If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain, if you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, then I'm the love that you've looked for. Write me and escape. I didn't think about my lady. I know that sounds kind of mean. So far, dude, you're a big giant piece of crap in this song. But me and my old lady had fallen into the same old dull routine. So I wrote to the paper, took out a personal ad, and though I'm nobody's poet, I thought it wasn't half bad. Yes, I like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. I'm not much into health food. I'm into champagne. I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon and cut through all this red tape at a bar called O'Malley's where we'll plan our escape. Verse 3 is where things get really, really fun. So I waited with high hopes, and she walked in the place. I knew her smile in an instant. I knew the curve of her face. She had a curved face like a moon? What? It was my own lovely lady. And she said, "Oh, it's you." Then we laughed for a moment, and I said, I never knew that you liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain and the feel of the ocean and the taste of champagne. If you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, you're the lady I've looked for. Come with me and escape. Now, see, here's the problem I have with this is he started the whole thing with he was tired of his lady. It's like a worn out record. But apparently there was a lot he didn't know about her and was like, oh, I never knew these things about you. Suddenly everything's fresh and new. I don't know who I don't like more in that song. His old lady who made the original ad, or him for picking it up and being like, hey, I like all those things. Here's the other thing about that. They're both lying
Yeah.
because they've been in a relationship so long that they think they know each other. She posts, if you like all this stuff, then I'm for you, which is a total lie because he never knew that about her. And he liked all that stuff, but also a lie because they would be passionately in love according to her original prose request. Had he liked pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, she'd know that already.
Mm-hmm.
That song should be called Two Pieces of Crap.
Yeah. Just
Two cheaters.
two sides to the same frickin' coin.
Wow. Like, but it also kind of feels like the 70s. Like they would go to a party and discover that a bunch of their friends were swingers, and they'd be like, oh, all right, you guys get down. That's smooth. Hey, guess what? Both me and my wife found out we're cheaters and we're giant liars. You think swinging's weird? You should check out the lies we told each other to rediscover, reignite the flame of our flaccid relationship.
Yeah, flaccid relationship.
I was tired of my lady.
And to be clear, someone said they don't know many dudes who like pina coladas. I love pina coladas.
Oh, I love
Coconut
well,
and pineapple are two of my favorite flavors in this world. And so when you mix them together, it's just magic.
Yeah, and see, I don't drink, so I can just say I love the flavor of pina colada because I don't know what like a real one would be like. Also, my thoughts on alcoholic beverages are, and I'd be curious to know what other people think about this, but pina colada is like a pretty ubiquitous flavor, right? You
Mhm.
can get popsicles and ice cream and all kinds of stuff in it. My question is, when you're drinking, when you're eating a pina colada popsicle or having pina colada ice cream, my mind, it's like, this is delicious. When you're drinking a pina colada that has alcohol in it, you're like, this would be delicious had it not also been sullied with the terrible flavor of alcohol. I've got to imagine, right? I mean, have you had an alcoholic one?
Not that I know of. I might
See,
have. Who knows? Because like some of them are so sweet and like it's overpowering.
yeah,
And I think that it's easy to hide alcohol and stuff like that, which is why people do it.
okay.
But I don't know. Maybe,
Like
maybe not. I don't.
I've talked about my only stumbling where I ordered a Coke Dark instead of a Coke Light, which Coke Light's a Diet Coke in
Mhm.
Mexico, or at least at the resort I was at. And I ordered a Coke Dark because I'm being funny. They brought a rum and Coke with a straw the size of the Exxon Valdez, so I was just like hork and drank the whole thing. And then I was like, yeah, that was leaded.
That tastes like isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, so I know, like, just also it was a resort, so the likelihood that I'm getting any bit of effective alcohol probably low. But yeah, so I guess I could get that. It's sort of like thinking you're gonna eat a mamba or like a piece of taffy, but somebody last week dipped it in gas,
Hmm.
and it's just enough that you're like, what was weird about that? Like, that seems like that's what alcohol would be like in like a highly flavored, like, confectionery type of drink like
But
that.
yeah, I think that like pina coladas and strawberry daiquiris are so popular because they hide the alcohol flavor
Yeah.
decently well. I mean,
I
not
remember
perfect, but
there was a girl in high school, and this was this is a slippery slope, but this was my first experience with a girl who said that she had an SA experience. You know what I'm talking about?
oh
So
yeah.
sexual,
Not like a
sexual
not like I
assault.
wrote an essay in 5th grade.
Right. Or
Different kind.
she had a Mexican friend. My
Yeah.
first essay experience. Hey, come over here, lady. No, I mean essay. Yeah. So, here's how the story played out for her. A bit of a discovery, a bit of biology discovery and everything, all wrapped into one package. She was like, I snuck out with my friends and we went over to this guy's house and my boyfriend was there and we all got in the hot tub and then they kept making us screwdrivers. So they're like drinking cups and cups of orange juice with vodka in it
Mm-hmm.
in a hot tub, which
Yeah.
thins your blood out. And so she's like, in Discovery, it thins your blood out. And I like almost drowned in the hot tub, blacked out. I woke up with my boyfriend's friend. And then the story gets sad because her boyfriend's friend like did stuff to her.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 90s, which is a terrible headline or like kind of a descriptor, but boyfriend didn't like murder the friend. It also never got reported. And like, I think in that case, it was it was like probably like a lot of essay cases where that kind of thing happens, where they're like, I was drinking alcohol in the hot tub. I mean, what do I expect? But, you should not have to expect that. But I was like, did you know you were drinking screwdrivers? And she's like, well, yeah. I was like, was it gross? And she's like, it's not like just drinking regular orange juice. It was just such a bizarre experience. I was like, I don't know which part of this to like be the most mad about.
Yeah.
She was like, well, okay. She said, I've drank the first one and then I thought it was just orange juice. I'm like, okay, yeah, problem number one, you can't tell the difference between orange juice and orange juice with vodka in it.
Yeah.
I don't even have to drink to know that's a red flag. And then all the rest of the red flags in that story aren't her red flags. They're other people's red flags. Fast forward to like probably 2012. And I'd go over to my brother's house and we had a 24-hour fitness, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 3/4 of a mile from his house. So I'd go to his house late at night. We'd run to the gym from his house, do the gym, come back. One night I showed up and he's like, he was talking to his neighbor and I walk up and my brother's like, hey, meet my neighbor. And I was like, hey, it was that dude, the boyfriend's friend. And he had like now he has like a blind business, like blind installation. And, he doesn't know that I know about that.
Yeah.
It was a really, I don't know. I went a good period of my life where I really struggled with that one, where I was like, I wanted to like stalk him and beat him to a bloody pulp and not have him know why it just happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to like find him and really do harm and then just peace out into the night. And it was a really heavy thought that I carried for years, especially since like it was like a fever dream to watch to hear about it, to know all the details and go through another 2 or 3 years of high school,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that happened and that like this like weird fraternity of high school drinkers just put it in this really weird package of live and learn. It's like,
Whoopsies.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. That's why they say drink responsibly. Part of that is not just how much you drink, but where you drink and who you're around.
Yeah. Bro
have
code
have a
apparently goes
plan.
deep. That's gross. It was really, it disturbed me. You were going to bring something up, And
yeah.
believe it or not, the thing you're bringing up also doesn't have direct connective tissue to, but there is a bit I was going to tell about from our friends at This Is True.
Our friends.
So tell us your thing, and then I'll show you my thing.
So I was just doom scrolling the other day on the Turlet, as most people do, and I found this reel by a band called Dutch Interior. And this is really messed up. This happened this year, like in July-ish, June-ish. So the band's name, Dutch Interior, right? They're named after a series of paintings that were literally called Dutch interiors. That was a style of painting for a while where it was just home scenes, right? It was literally like a lady sweeping her floor. Like it was like, this is during the Baroque period where everyone's painting these big, huge, elaborate paintings of stuff. And someone's like, I just want to paint everyday people going about their everyday life. So it was like just kind of a different thing. And the people were like, cool. So, and this isn't about paintings. That's just where their name came from. So that's the origin of their name. Dutch Interior, they're a folk country-ish band from the UK. So they posted a video on Instagram of they were getting yelled at by a sound guy at a venue they were trying to do a mic check for. And the guy was just being, I don't know if he was angry that day or whatever, but he's just yelling at the band and just being a jerk. And so they just were kind of like posting it like, hey, be careful when you come to this venue. Like they're just trying to warn other bands that, the sound guy might be a little bit of a rude person sometimes. So it went viral. And then, Instagram is part of Meta AI. So if a lot of their fans started saying, hey, did you see that hyperlink that's in your Instagram page that Meta put there? So they clicked on their own Instagram profile, and all of a sudden there's this little thing that says, it says Dutch Interior Controversy. There's a little hyperlink.
Oh, kind of like you would get when anything about COVID was mentioned, and they thought they were helping the world by
it's like, here's a helpful thing.
Telling you it's misinformation.
Yeah, so there's a little hyperlink that says Dutch Interior Controversy. And if you clicked on it, it literally said that, so Meta AI said that they're from the Netherlands. They're not, because it just read the word Dutch. Oh, you're from the Netherlands. So it's an AI generated summary that falsely claimed that the band was Dutch, that their band name was actually linked to white supremacy, and that their music had been removed from multiple streaming services because of that. None of that was even remotely true.
Okay. Wow.
Like, they're not from the Netherlands. They're not white supremacists or even closeted white supremacists. And they have never had any songs taken off of any streaming service for any reason. But
how do they get away? Like, okay, I don't want to shortcut your story, but is there a lawsuit pending?
Well, that's the thing is like, everyone's like, what do you do? Because you can't sue someone for stuff on social media because the courts will just be like, well, it's just someone's opinion.
Well, the thing
like,
is,
you can sue news for false reporting.
I was going to say you could sue Meta for this because their AI generated a false story, and you could say it affected all the things.
That's still a gray area because it's on social media.
Yeah, but no, the argument there, I get that. But I don't get it at the same time because you can go after somebody for cyberbullying. There's been a lot of Congress and Senate hearings where these companies need to be held accountable. They tried to hide for a long time behind an Obama era internet fluke where it's that we're this kind of a news distribution. We're not publishing, and so there's a lot to be said. I don't mean to sound super smart on it, but
that like, I agree with all that, but that's still a legal gray area where courts are still like, they still won't look at it because it's still controversial.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you there. I think if they brought this to it and said, hey, the platform itself warned everybody of what we were, I think there's cause there, definitely, for a court to go, yeah, I think you're right.
I believe that, but I also think that courts do stupid crap.
Oh, all the time.
Every single day for no reason. Plus, it's Facebook. Like, are you going to fight that monster of like, they have the best lawyers.
Yeah, but if not them, then who? I mean, that's the question is And that's actually been an argument for a long time, especially like during COVID era and everything. Big people like Gina Carano, or big actresses or actresses or celebrities who were stuffed by the social media platforms during those times, were like, if I have a hard time with this, like Gina Carano's legal case, which she won, was funded by Elon Musk.
Mhm.
And one of her arguments at the end was, had it not been for a billionaire taking on my case, then if I couldn't handle the case, who could?
Yeah.
And so by doing it, though, they set some legal precedents,
Mhm.
and then they have to mind their P's and Q's, these internet
So yeah,
companies.
so they got a hold of Meta, and they're like, oh, we'll fix it. So then it happened again. They get another little
A new one?
Dutch interior Meta AI controversy. Click on the hyperlink, and this time the AI was like, oh, they are culturally appropriating and doing it poorly. So they're mocking Native Americans. They're wearing Native American headdresses on stage. They're wearing African clothes on stage. They're culturally appropriating things, and they're still tied to white supremacy. Like, it literally was just like, well, it doesn't say you're from the Netherlands anymore. So what's your issue? Like, that's like, it just doubled down. The AI is just like, nope, I hate this band for no
Uh,
reason.
yeah,
Screw them.
I was gonna say, it's like, okay, sometimes when AI does a thing like that, it's there's an origin point where they're like, they got it wrong because there is a legitimate XYZ out there and AI falsely associated them.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems like such a grab bag of oddities. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what? Just because they're okay. So like, I could get the mistake, the Dutch correlation. Okay, but all the rest of the stuff, was there some other entity out there that was white supremacist and all these
Or
things?
is it just taking, like, is it breaking the words down like Dutch interior and somehow making some weird connection?
Yeah, or trying to take like the old hundreds of years old, the Indies frigates that were like the lifeblood of distribution amongst the countries, and being like, oh yeah, no, this is connected to those.
Yeah.
Like, how do you misassociate that many things? It's almost like somebody at the company was like, I hate this band. I'm gonna use our engine to
Mm-hmm.
to destroy them. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's weird. So yeah, be careful out there, because AI can just make up crap about you that's not even real and push it. That's the other thing, is that it was making it go viral, because it's, guess what? The AI gets to decide what goes viral and what
Yeah,
doesn't. So then
yeah,
it was pushing it out at a higher clip. Like, it was
yeah.
pushing out their stuff so that the link would get clicked, and it was highlighting the link, and yeah, it's crazy. Like, it can do a lot.
Wow. Okay, check this one out. This is more along the lines of uh legal plus meta. So an investigation by the Reuters news agency uncovered internal documents by Meta Inc., the parent company of Facebook, revealing that last year Meta made about $16 billion running ads for scams and
Mm-hmm.
banned goods. Worse, the company has failed to address that ethical lapse for at least 3 years, and shows its users about 15 billion, quote, higher risk scam ads every day, plus around 22 billion organic scam attempts, such as private messages from scammers to victims. The company has internal systems to ban such ads, but takes action only when the systems are at least 95% certain, meaning AI is 95% certain the ads are fraudulent. Meanwhile, it rejected or ignored 96% of users' complaints about scammers. I don't know about you, but I've reported a ton.
Me too. And I've
Uh,
never had out of maybe the 200 I've reported. Guess how many have actually been taken down? Zero.
yeah. Um, I almost had the same track record. I guess there's been a handful that have been taken down. One that that I pushed really hard on was um I don't know if you ever heard my episode with Sammy, my niece, the singer,
Hmm.
about the car wreck she got in, where the guy that killed her and her sister's best friend, Sammy was driving. The three of them were in the car. Sammy's sister, my other niece, was ejected from the car and launched like into a wrought iron fence. And their friend was killed, ejected out the back of the car. Um, he had started like a couple miles away down the road and just put his foot to the floor and was just going forward until he hit something. His car ended up, after the impact, going through the intersection and ended up a power pole. Terrible, right?
Hmm.
So right away, like as I'm wont to do, I was like, oh, okay. And I went and I grabbed all of his social media posts before his family could scrub it,
Hmm.
because that's a terrible person that did that. So I pulled all of his posts, and as I'm pulling them, it's a minor. He's a minor. All of his posts were like videos of him drinking. He had photos of uh his bed with like wet spots on it.
Hmm.
Uh, and the text descriptions of them were like talking about his time with his girl and all this. And um I was reporting. I was like, this is, I don't know, I felt a little bit like a Karen, but he had just killed someone.
Hmm.
So, I was like, hey, this is a minor account. You should be able to see by his age, and all the things he was posting about. And they came back and like, we didn't find anything uh, untoward. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is really not human run.
Yeah, we won't get rid of an account that is going to make us some money from ad revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got a little more on this. So back to the scam ads. Like I said, 15 billion higher risk scam ads. So these are paid ads that it was peddling. 15 billion impressions, 22 billion organic scam attempts, such as private messages from scammers to victims. The company has internal systems to, like I said, the AI is doing it. Meanwhile, it rejected or ignored 96% of users' complaints about scammers. Before that trigger, the company simply charges the advertisers extra, boosting its own profits from the scam operation. So if you're a scammer, if you're a scammer running an ad, and what Meta does is they're like, hey, we found out you're a scammer, we're charging you more. So they make more money off the scammers by identifying that they're scammers and then charging them more. And when users do click on such ads, its algorithms automatically show those users more of the scammy ad inventory.
Hmm.
Last year, a British regulator found that Meta was involved in 54% of all financial losses due to scams, more than double than all of its competitors combined. Meta's documents estimate that the company is involved in promoting about a third of all successful scams being perpetuated in the United States, making it a, quote, a pillar of the global fraud economy. Fraud, a global industry. Meta, its leading logistics partner.
Isn't that crazy if you think about it? Just shut down Facebook and 33% of all fraud and scams will disappear overnight.
Yeah, your banks would thank you so they don't have to reissue debit cards and everything. One of the most, I don't know, anymore, like as a rule of thumb, I will not buy a product clicking through an ad on
Hmm.
Instagram or Facebook. Won't do it. Won't
Nope.
do it anymore. What I will do is if I see an innovative product or something like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of a glutton for like mechanic tools or like, tools.
Hmm.
Headlamps, like I've said, I'm a sucker for headlamps and I don't know, electronic gear and all kinds of widgets. what I will do is if I see an ad for it or something, a sponsored post, I'll go to Amazon and see if I can find it through Amazon. And then if I can vet it by seeing that people bought it and it didn't come back as a scam, I'll buy. One of the most egregious uh, experiences that I had with the scam product was just before Christmas, maybe like for early November. I saw an ad for this really cool mini, fully functioning V8 engine, which was like it was a model.
Yeah.
It was really cool. The videos were amazing, fully articulated. It was just really neat. And Sam was, kind of into that. I think it was like maybe 9, 10, something like that. So I bought it, and then it showed up like mid-December. So at first indicators it's coming from China. It took a month and a half to get there. And when it came, it was an injection molded glob that it looked like, on Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think it's Raiders of the Lost Ark, when the dude's face melts.
That's Raiders, yeah.
Okay. It was like they had created a fully articulated engine and then freeze framed halfway through it melting like that guy's face. So it was a rough, like soft, no hard edges. It was just like the most poorly injection molded glob that was sort of engine shaped. And then I swear to you, they let Helen Keller attach paintbrushes to her breasts to paint this thing. It was so sad. What it said to me is, "Ha ha, we're China. We know you're stupid American."
Yeah.
And they sent that like it was a mockery. And so, as I'm wont to do, I was like, I'm going to shut this thing down. I reported it. I reported the ad. I did all the things. I went from like legalese all the way to warning the Chinese tech support people with like Chinese voodoo. I did everything. Obviously didn't get a refund. But the store that I purchased it from was a Shopify store. So they had a Shopify store. I reported this. I reported that store so many times. I reported it until Shopify took it down. I was just not going to let this land,
Yeah.
let it end. However, I'm one person, right? I'm one person against a legion of scammers, and I won that sort of, but I'm sure they just copy pasted this Shopify store and turned it into another one and rejiggered some ads. Because the other thing about it is that the ads that you end up seeing, the scam ads, you're lucky if you can get to the website to purchase the product that the ad is showing you before the product is reported as a scam and removed. When you get to the store, oftentimes that product is no longer there because it was already identified as a scam and removed, but there are 30 other products still there because those haven't been reported as scams yet. It's very hard to take a whole store down. We had people, when I was doing merch for Sword and Scale, we had people reporting the Sword and Scale store because they didn't like some of the merch. At one point, we sold. I came up with this free speech shirt. It was all of these sayings, not sayings, but words. It was like protect. It was all of the things that the First Amendment protects, but at the bottom of it was hate. Hate was one of the listed words. And then at the bottom it says protect them all. Because and some people hated the fact that we were basically saying, hey, you can say hate speech all you want, but that is protected speech.
Yeah. And
no matter what you say, words aren't violence, and violence is not subjective. There is a line. Obviously, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are lines. But some people hated that shirt so much that they like report bombed the Sword and Scale store to try to shut the whole store down.
Yeah.
So but it's very hard. I mean, it was very unlike Shopify at the time. I think we were going through Shopify. They tell us, hey, your store's been reported, and we're like, no, and they're like, okay. So as the store owner or the manager of the store, they deferred to us most of the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been on both sides of it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, people are the absolute worst.
Yeah, they are. We've kind of hit some heavy stuff on at the beginning of this episode. Let me read a couple more things from This Is True because they're funny, and I got to walk off.
And they're our friends.
And they're our friends. I just love the fact they have no idea who we are. It's funny. It you know what it reminds me of is when I hear people say, "Oh yeah, no, I talk to my husband all the time, like my friends on the 911 calls podcast. My friends." And, the husband's like, "Will you shut up? Stop saying your friends. They don't even know you exist."
That is like the weird thing when you show up to like meet and greets and they're just like they know everything about you and you're just like, I don't even know your real name.
Yeah.
I just know the name you use on the internet.
And most of the time it's like a full first middle name. She's in the back door. Delaney's in the back door. When I see Delaney's name, I think of her whole name. I don't know if I can say her whole name, publicly because she didn't give me permission to. But if I were to meet her, okay, she said sure. When I see Delaney, I'm like, Delaney box holder? Like every time I see her name, I think of the whole Facebook name. So if I were ever to meet Delaney, I would be like, Delaney box holder. Yeah. Or when I met Annie Hyatt for the first time, I was like, Hyatt Homestead, because I don't know I just know her by the thing, right? And it's funny. It's funny.
And they know everything about you, and you're just like, I wish I knew more about you because now I feel dumb. Yeah. But I'm used to feeling dumb, so it's okay.
What's funny is, and this isn't the case with Delaney, but like if somebody were like, hey, I've got a problem with my Patreon, can you help me? I'd be like, sure, Amanda. What email address is it under? And they're like, Patricia Johnson. I'm like, what? Like, so I can't be to blame all the time because there's a lot of people that don't use their like real stuff. Yeah. And it's kind of shocking. And in my head, if I'm like, sure, Amanda, what can I help you with? And she's like, email. And it's patriciajohnson@gmail.com. Okay, Patricia. And in my head, I'm like, she must be hiding from an ex. She must have been abused in a former life. And this is her way of moving forward without being tracked.
She's a drug kingpin. You never know.
I make these like, oh, she must have been in a hot tub drinking too many screwdrivers and now she has to remove herself from her community through all means necessary. I just make up a story in my head.
Well, according to one of my emails that I have, I'm a lawyer, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got it. So you're a semi-illiterate lawyer now.
Esquire. Yep.
Esquire. That's awesome.
Was it
a complaint email?
No, I just have a random email that has a title of Esquire at the end just for funsies.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like if I wanted to, I could email someone and make it appear that I'm a lawyer, but it's like, it's not illegal to just use that as a joke because Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, that's where I got it from, because he always introduces himself as, Preston Esquire. Every time he introduces himself.
Right. Yeah. Oh man,
it's probably semi-illegal, but who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I knew people with like, I knew guys named Judge. That was like their first name.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can. I don't know. I guess if you were trying to profit off of it, so if I was like,
that would probably be where the
Sam
line
Swenson
was.
DDS, then I'm probably.
I think once you start charging people, that's when it becomes like, once there's money involved, I think that's when it becomes fraud.
Yeah. I think there's joking where you can healthily swim in snark-infested waters, but then there's also, that's an ethical violation. You shouldn't do that. All right, here's another one. Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams said his office was getting an influx of calls on Election Day this year, asking why the polls were closed. Quote, they are closed because we do not have an election today, he explained in a social media post. Quote, Kentucky votes next year. While many states did have elections, there were no national elections. And as Adams went on to explain, quote, you cannot vote today in Kentucky for the mayor of New York City or the governor of Virginia. Sorry. He also added a follow-up post, quote, have I mentioned my repeated call for civic education? The famous former Republican lawyer George Conway replied, there is a distinct possibility that some people are too stupid to participate in a democracy.
It's true.
I would agree with that. I saw sometimes you have to remember who you could possibly be arguing with
Yeah.
on the internet.
People who can barely put their shoes on the right feet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not who you think it is,
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more. A mother was waiting in line at iPlay America in Freehold, New Jersey, when she was told she wasn't tall enough for a go-kart ride. She was. Indeed, the 55-year-old explained to a manager she'd actually been allowed to go before. Quote, children waiting in line behind her became upset and began to shout at her because of the delay. The woman, or her lawyer, told a court. This lady went to court over this.
Ooh.
The kids called her a Karen, and and a white female dog. That's racist. She was, quote, terribly embarrassed and humiliated, especially because her children were there. Her lawsuit against iPlay was thrown out last year, and now a higher court has confirmed that decision, saying that, quote, verbal insults that occur spontaneously cannot be reasonably prevented, and the venue is not required to prevent them. Nevertheless, the court made clear that it did not endorse the derogatory and pejorative comments, because filing a lawsuit over being called a Karen does not legally prove you are one. So I guess she kind of leaned in with the insults, like my First Amendment shirt said. Sorry, that's, I don't know, just because you're offended or uncomfortable doesn't make it illegal.
Yeah.
She should have leaned in on the I'm tall enough, because that's like in court. You wouldn't even need discovery for that. You'd be like, here, look at me. Look at me.
Yeah. This is a tape measure. I will stand next to it. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I got one more because this one's good. Rod, we'll call him, is the owner of a little yellow house in Maysville, Colorado, and says he knew about the tradition before he bought the house 7 years ago. It's known to locals, and Maysville is tiny enough that, quote, locals are spread fairly widely. It's the honk house, as it's tradition to honk at the house when driving by. It's along a 2-lane portion of U.S. Highway 50 in the Rockies between Denver and the more rural western part of the state. And it's been going on for around 80 years. Most of the people driving by, therefore, have no idea as to why they're supposed to beep their horn. They just remember their parents did it. It goes back to Harry Miller, who built the house for his wife. She would sit in the window and wave at cars when they went by. When she died, Harry took over the job of waving. Drivers considered it good luck as they headed up to the 11,312-foot Monarch Pass, which marks the Continental Divide, or as thanks for good passage on the way down. Harry died in 1976. The honking has never stopped. Rod says he recently spent 2 months in the hospital, and the energy he received from the honkers helped him heal. He still waves back. It's okay since he uses all of his fingers. I like that one. Oh, man. That would be hard because where my studio is, if this was a honk house, you'd hear it
Yeah.
every time. Every time. The neighbor raiders who live next to me, they bought their son a big giant truck, like a jacked up truck.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear it. Like I can hear it on my recordings sometimes when it starts up.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very courteous in that their dad, Trenton, he'll drive it sometimes. Most of the time if he's driving it at midnight or later. And they're very courteous. They text me.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear the truck start up, so they don't really need to text me, but I'm grateful they do because what they text me is making a Taco Bell run. Want anything? So I've got this Pavlovian response now. When I hear the truck start up in the middle of the night, I start like salivating. Taco Bell?
Doritos, Locos, Tacos. Doritos, Locos, Tacos.
It's seriously a Pavlovian response. I hear that truck in the middle of the night and I'm like, I want a gordita. Man.
I live in some townhomes. Like it's a fourplex, and one of the neighbors, it's funny because like you see this guy and you're just like not in a mean way, but you're just like, oh, he's a nerd. Like he's just very tall, skinny. He's an engineer at the paper plant. English is his second language. And he's just very quiet, very like, just kind of doesn't talk a lot, very shy. And he's got this frickin' gigantic, super loud crotch rocket. Like,
oh, really?
And like he warms it up, like he does the responsible thing. He turns it on, lets it warm up for a couple minutes before he drives it. So yeah, I just hear this, and then like when it turns over, and then it just sits there with this it's got some work done to it. It's not just like a stock, like it's a big like a
ported Hayabusa.
Yeah, it's like a big rocket, dude, and it's loud, and the exhaust is aftermarket and everything. And it's just I just hear it just warming up all the time, and it's just weird to think about him getting on it because it's like if he twists the throttle a little too hard, he's just gonna go floating away in the wind.
And then he fires it up and then goes to his job at a CPA firm.
Well, he's an engineer. He's an electrical engineer.
Oh, okay.
So he just goes and sits in front of his computer and
I missed that part.
Tick, 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 tick. Does his engineerings. So yeah, it's just weird. Some of the vehicles some people have, it's just like, what? Okay, I don't see you driving that, but okay.
Yeah.
I wear flat brim hats and plaid, so obviously I do drive a lifted Tacoma. It's obvious.
I like to talk to my neighbor. That we talk about all the time. He works from home, so do I. We're probably 40 feet from each other right now. And we both have very important jobs. He does SCADA management, which is the hardware. We've talked about this hardware, electrical, automation. He's managing the automation of our nation's oil pipelines, and I'm podcasting.
Yeah.
So, but we're 40 feet away from each other. We never see each other. We're both in our little boxes most of the time.
It's so good. Someone's making fun of me for putting pineapple on pizza again. Pepperoni, pineapple, jalapeno. It's such a good pizza. It's delicious. Try it sometime. You don't have to like ham and pineapple. You can do like pepperoni instead, pineapple and jalapeno. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's even a pizza place not too far from me that's one of their pizzas is a pepperoni, pineapple, jalapeno pizza.
My wife and I really like this one you can get from Papa Murphy's Take and Bake pizzas. They don't have it on the menu anymore, but you can tell them, and if you've got somebody that's worked there for any bit of time, they remember it. But it was called a Smokin' Aloha, and it was a pepperoni pizza with pineapple, jalapenos on it, but it had barbecue sauce instead of red sauce.
Oh, okay.
And it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
There's a pizza place in town that one of their pizzas has a ranch base. It's not marinara. They literally use ranch dressing as the sauce. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a weird pizza because it has like ranch dressing. It has cucumbers on it, and then I think like ground beef. It just sounds really weird, but it's actually not bad. who tried
Huh.
it before. So yeah, it has a ranch base, cucumbers, and ground beef on it. Just
That sounds like a dereliction of duty.
yeah,
The recipe list on that one.
and I'm also pretty sure that the guy who owns the place, he's half Russian, half Italian.
Huh.
So his mom is the one who taught him how to make pizza. She's the Italian, but he's half Russian, and I'm pretty sure he is like in the WITSEC, like witness protection. I
Oh
think he was
yeah.
in the Russian mob at some point, because like we'll be over there and he'll be like, oh yeah, I remember and he also played in the Russians like national symphony for a little bit,
Oh wow.
and he's like, oh yeah, like me and what was the guy before Putin?
Gorbachev.
Whichever. Yeah, he's like I've hung out with him. I met him. I played for him and
Oh
went to like hung out with him and stuff. So it's just like okay, like. And
wow.
then he's like, yeah, he was talking to my wife because she works at the dentist office. He's like, yeah, I get all my work done in Vegas because I know a guy there. Like every time he talks, you're just like, you were in the mob. Like he's
Wow.
always like, yeah, I know a guy yeah, I know a guy. I know this guy, and he never says any specifics. Like, oh yeah, I have a guy in Vegas who does all this for me. And you're just like,
That's actually pretty rare, I think. Well, based on the Russians and Ukrainians I know, I'm a very much get to, like I meet somebody and if I feel they're intriguing at all, I want to know all about them. So, but Russians and the like uh, aren't exactly forthcoming for
hmm
good reason, you know? So I'd be like, so what do you do? And they're like, dude, doesn't matter. Where are you from? It really doesn't matter. Like every question
yeah.
I just want to get to know you. Like, what's your story, pal? I'm looking you in the eyes now. That all it matters, really.
Yeah.
Stop talking to me. I know a guy.
And like his wife has the most generic Russian name ever, Olga.
Olga.
That's his wife's name is
Yeah.
Olga. So it's just
Yeah.
like you're living in this tiny, tiny, tiny little town in the middle of absolute nowhere, Oregon. Like, why would you just like you don't have any family here, nothing? Why would a Russian just move here and then open up a pizza place?
Yeah.
Like that's just
Yeah.
it's like it just feels like I'm in a movie and I don't even know it yet.
It's interesting too because you could qualify a Russian uh genetically, the majority of Russians as white,
hmm
but there is a definite look. Like there are certain features that you're like, oh, that's a Slavic feature.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I could pick a Russian out of a lineup,
hmm
or at least I'd like to think I could.
Well, and this dude, he just looks like a mob boss too. He's got like the really thick hair still, even though he's old.
Uh,
That he like combs it back. He's
Brill
got his
creams
gold.
back.
Yeah, he's got his gold chain on. He's got this big hairy chest showing. Like he looks like a '70s prototypical mobster.
So he hasn't learned to how witness relocation
I
should
don't think
work.
he cares. Like I honestly don't.
He
I think
doesn't sound like it.
if you rolled up on him, he'd just pull out double AKs and just
Wow.
and be like problem solved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there are some weird flukes when it comes to like witness relocation, and the one that bothers me the most, to be honest, are ambassadors.
hmm
Not really ambassadors as much as diplomats' families. Like diplomats have immunity. If their piece of crap son kills somebody in a
Yeah.
DUI, nothing happens. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Diplomatic community is one wild ride.
Well, especially like when you think about what is it? Any like the diplomatic buildings, they're all considered part of their country.
Yeah, part of their country, right?
Yeah, it's not like even though it's they literally don't consider it on U.S. soil.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
like if you step inside that building, you're literally in a different country.
Yep.
According to how the laws are written.
And if anybody gets their panties in a bunch about that, just know that's an international thing.
Yeah.
Like most of the G20 countries would have embassy plots of land.
Well, that's like any movie. It's like, we got to get to the embassy.
Get to the embassy.
We got to get to the U.S. embassy, and they're like struggling to get. And once they get through the gate, it's like, oh, we made it.
Yeah, you're
'Cause
home.
that's literally how it works.
It's like real life Monopoly
Yeah.
in a way. Or as drunk people often think, I made it to my driveway. What the heck? You can't arrest me.
yeah,
I'm
I made
home.
it. Home
I
base.
made it.
I'm home base.
You stupid idiot. Or as my favorite line, I'm quoting here so I can say it. My favorite line ever from Cops was this drunk guy who's getting completely tackled and accosted by the police because he's resisting, and he just keeps screaming, "You son of a bitches!" Singular son, multiple bitches.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah, just my favorite line. He just kept saying it over and over. Oh, I love it.
I love Cops.
What did you bring today?
I brought some names. Problematic names is what we'll call this.
Okay.
So some names are just very unfortunate. Do you know anyone with an unfortunate name?
Yeah, I've mentioned it before. Like, I knew a gal in Alabama named Latrina.
Mm-hmm.
They just thought put a law on the front of Trina,
Yeah.
as they do, or put, But no, I was like, "Can I call you John for short?" She's like, "What?
What?
I'm like, never mind.
You just saying Latrina makes you sound like some like white dude from Texas trying to speak Spanish.
Yeah. Have you seen?
I used the latrina over there.
Yeah. Have you seen the video Sharkesia Stop?
No.
It's his meme. It's a real video. There's this girl just beating the brakes off of this other girl, and everyone is screaming at her, "Sharkesia, stop! Her name is Sharkesia." Like, I love that. Yeah, I know I know a handful of people with unfortunate names. Some of them might listen to the show, so I won't.
I knew a guy named Michael Hunt.
Yeah,
and
right.
he only ever went by Michael for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
I also used to, speaking of the same wordages, I used to do deliveries of uniforms, and there was a shop out in Kanab, and they had a guy named Kurt, and the font, he spelt it C-U-R-T, not K-U-R-T.
Kurt.
And it was a comma, well, not a cursive, not comma. It was written in cursive, C-U-R-T in cursive.
Yeah, that R can look like an N.
Yeah, so the R can look like an N. And so he would always rip his name tags off, but the manager would always pay me to put new ones back on.
Oh, really?
So, like, we're talking over the year and a half I delivered there, probably like $200 just in extra servicing fees of getting new name tags sewn and then put back on the shirts, because he'd rip them off and throw them away, like the employee, but his boss thought it was hilarious. So every like month or so, he'd like put the name tags back on. Just do it. Just put them all back on.
God.
And so like, yeah, he would just walk around with that. As soon as I'd put him on the hanger, like everyone would know the week that the name tags were coming back, and everyone would watch, and then he'd be like, "Oh, damn it," because he'd see everyone watching him for his reaction, so he already knew exactly what was like. The name tags are back, aren't they? And like I'd have to try to keep a straight face, and I just couldn't do it. But we're gonna talk about other people who have just kind of unfortunate names, and some of them are punny, some of them are they just got screwed over by their parents who named them.
Okay.
First, we have Osama bin Laden. One poor, unfortunate little Iraqi boy realized the consequences of having the wrong name after he and his family received death threats because his name was Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And I'm referring to the Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, not the rogue elephant Osama bin Laden that killed 27 people in India.
Oh,
so
wait.
yeah, you can Google that too.
What? Which one predates which one? The Osama bin Laden
So
elephant?
the elephant was named after the military leader one.
Oh.
And it was a rogue bull elephant who just destroyed people for fun.
Wow.
Killed 27 people in India before they put it down, but they named him Osama bin Laden too.
Jeez.
But our little boy Osama, that sounds weird. Our young Osama was born in Alexandria, Iraq in 2002, which is a full year before the US made war times there, and Osama bin Laden became a household name. So it wasn't that big of a deal at first, but eventually, as you know, Osama bin Laden became more and more popular around the world for bad things. He got more and more hate. He wasn't allowed to join certain sports teams. He always had to explain himself whenever he was asked for identification. It's like, yeah, I'm obviously not that guy. I'm 12. Like, I'm a little kid. Like, I'm obviously not the Osama bin Laden.
He's not the coordinator of terrorism.
Yeah. And so he tried to change, him and his family tried to change his name, but, you know, bureaucracy sucks sometimes. And so he couldn't. And then Qasim al-Araji, if you remember him, he was Iraq's interior minister. He heard of this poor teenager boy's plight and said, "Hey, I'm going to help you out. We're going to get your name changed to Ahmed Hussein."
Oh,
Which, you know, is a step in the right direction, but not really
Yeah.
all the way. But unfortunately, though, before the new ID could get to him, he actually passed away in a electrical accident.
oh man.
So he was electrocuted to death before he could ever get his new name. And then an online publication, of course, reported young Osama's death just with the title Osama bin Laden killed in Iraq. Because, you know, clickbait. They're like, well, technically we were telling the truth.
Yeah. That reminds me of this poor kid. You ever seen this one? I'll share my screen. This is his ID.
I saw that one.
Batman bin Superman. Or Batman bin Superman. I love that. I love that one.
Welcome to
Works.
Singapore.
Yeah.
That was before AI was even a thing.
Yeah.
So speaking of Hussein, we next have Saddam Hussein.
Oh man.
So this time we have an Indian engineer named Saddam Hussein. It's spelled different, but it's pronounced the exact same. He actually applied to 40 different jobs and got turned down every single time because he shared the name Saddam Hussein.
Really?
Yes. So, like I said, wasn't spelled the same, but it was close enough. He later changed his name to Sahid Hussein, but that only made things worse for him because remember how we talked about bureaucracy? Well, he was an engineer, but now all of his credentials were in someone else's name. And apparently you can't just get those changed easily. So now he couldn't even apply for engineering jobs anymore because his engineering license wasn't in his current name.
Ah.
And so, yeah, he was just kind of screwed over. There was another Saddam Hussein, not the dictator, nor the Indian engineer. He was actually captured and almost executed by an Iraqi militia one time because of his name. They're like, we got him. Doesn't look anything like the one guy, but maybe he had lots of plastic surgery and he is now dressing in sandals and has no money. So let's kill this one just to be safe, better safe than sorry. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, while he was running away, one of the guns jammed that they were using to shoot at him, and so he actually got away. But he's still named Saddam Hussein, so that's unfortunate. So now we have a punny one. We have Craig Cockburn, which is very unpleasant.
Ooh, ouch.
So spam filters help to protect us from receiving malicious and unsolicited email. But Craig Cockburn, well, he always had his messages marked as spam because of his name. He couldn't email anybody without it ending up in the spam folder if he put his full name in his emails. So no matter what, if he included his last name, his emails just got put in the trash. So he got sick of what was happening, and he actually wrote to a news station to try to get awareness and help for his plight, for his Cockburn. But to ensure that his email didn't end up in the spam folder, when he emailed the news company, he changed the O in his name to a 0, which used to be able to get you around spam filters.
Wow.
So there's no news if he was successful at the time in his plight, but I think systems are a little bit better now than they used to be. So hopefully he's not getting spammed, foldered all the time while just trying to send emails to people. Poor guy. Next, we have some more. Remember how we were talking about how Facebook sucks? Well, we're going to talk more about how Facebook sucks right now. So we have this wonderful lady whose name is Robin Kills the Enemy. That is her legal name. Native American.
Robin kills the enemy.
Her last name, legally, on her birth certificate, is Kills the Enemy. 3, like, capital K, capital T, capital E. Not one word. Robin kills the enemy. So now Facebook, the giant bag of dicks that they are, wants its users to always use their real names. So in 2009, it actually banned people for using their real names because, makes sense. So initially, Facebook prevented Robin from creating a profile account because of her name. They're like, that's not a real name. You have to put in a real name. So then Robin went to MySpace because it was way better anyways. Okay, you could put a dope-ass song on your homepage. But she eventually returned to Facebook because most of her friends were there because they were basic bitches. So Facebook once again turned down her registration when she tried to join until she merged her name into one word, kills the enemy. So now people are having problems finding her because they actually took the time to be sensitive and learn how to spell her name correctly. So now it doesn't show up. Like you can't search for her because it's one word. So she actually emailed Facebook and said, hey, can I just have my real name as it appears in my birth certificate, please? And Facebook, like always, was super helpful and replied by banning her. That was it. They were just like, oh, ban. Can I use my real name, please? No, ban. So after she acts, because like in Facebook, you can like ask for a follow-up.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So she did that, and Facebook got back to her and said they don't allow fake names, and she could only regain her account because they banned her when she smashed her name into one word. They're like, you have to use your real name in order to get your Facebook account back.
Mm-hmm.
How culturally accepting of them.
Yeah, right.
So, and she wasn't the only person. We also had Melissa Holds the Enemy. She couldn't use her.
Native American again?
Yep. She had her account suspended for a month. So did a guy whose legal name is Creeping Bear. That is his legal name, Native American. And so did Lance Brown Eyes, another Native American.
Lance Brown Eyes.
Lance Brown Eyes is his legal name.
What a banal name.
Yep.
If you're a Native American, there can't be a more that's like saying Billy Eyebrows. Maybe even worse than that, because Native Americans aren't known genetically to have a lot of excess facial hair.
Yeah.
So brown eyes, though, that's a ringer. Like, you're one of a million plus.
So here's the best part. Mr. Lance Brown Eyes even sent in a certified copy of his identification to Facebook. Government issued ID, certified. Facebook released his account back to him, but not before changing his name to Lance Brown. They literally went in and they're like, here's your Facebook account back. But
they changed his name?
They changed his name. He literally sent them his ID that said Lance Brown Eyes on it. And they're like, no, your name's Lance Brown. Here's your Facebook account back. You can't change it.
Which sounds very, very white to do.
Yes.
Like, well, we'll just change your name so it's more Americanized. Although I will say Lance Brown is probably better than Lance Brown Eyes because you sound like a hemorrhoid doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yummy. So next we're back on punny names. We have Dr. Herman I. Lipschitz. 69-year-old Dr. Lipschitz and his wife Allison were trying to upgrade their home internet service to DSL when he was required to provide an email address and password to complete the setup. He entered the details as required, but was unsuccessful. He called Verizon, his internet service provider, and he was informed that he could not complete the setup because his surname, Lipschitz, contained the word shit.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Which is sad. I mean, Lipschitz is a pretty common last name.
So they're like, just change the spelling of your own name. And he's like, no, that's my name and it's my email and I'm just going to keep it as is. And so after cycling him through various agents, which Verizon does, they promised to call him back. So do you really think they called him back?
No.
No, they didn't. Verizon did send him a letter, though, stating that he couldn't use his surname because it didn't comply with company rules.
Okay.
So eventually, he put up a big stink about it and is eventually allowed to use his real name after a newspaper got in touch with Verizon and said they were going to run a story on it. And so then the spokeswoman was like, oh, we didn't know. Oh, no, let's fix this. Because, that's very reasonable of them.
Right.
Yeah, so now I have another one. I want you to tell me what's wrong with this name. Linda Callahan. What could possibly... We're going with Verizon. This is another Verizon one.
Linda Callahan?
Linda Callahan. She tried signing up for a Verizon email address, and she kept receiving an error message, just like Dr. Lipschitz.
I'm trying to think if there's anything like in the middle of there that would be. No, I can't think of anything.
So they kept getting the error message, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's their last name. Callahan is what they figured out was the problem. So they get a hold of Yahoo, who services the Verizon email accounts, and they're like, "Oh, because you have the word Allah in your last name."
Oh, you're kidding.
Literally, that, like, Callahan,
A-L. Well, it's not even spelled right.
A-L-L-A-H. Their last name is spelled
Oh, with a
C-A-L-L-A-H-A-N. So, yeah, Allah is right in the middle of their last name. So they said we stopped doing that because people who are registering for accounts using the name Allah, a lot of them were promoting hate.
Were they?
So they just put a kibosh on any usernames that had the word Allah anywhere in it.
Yeah.
So later, Yahoo revised the ban later, but Linda had already set up an account with Gmail by then. So she's just like, too little, too late here.
It's crazy.
Here's a fun one. Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
An American man was sent to prison after naming his children after Nazis and Nazi-related stuff. So he had one kid named Adolf Hitler Campbell. He had another kid named Jocelyn Aryan Nation Campbell. Aryan Nation is her middle name. He had another child named Hanslin Himmler Jeannie Campbell. He had another named Heinrich Hans. And then his last daughter's name is Ava Braun.
Oh my gosh.
So this guy, his name used to be Isidore Heath Campbell. Then he completed the whole thing by renaming himself Isidore Heath Hitler. So the family got national attention after a supermarket refused to write 3-year-old Adolf Hitler's name on a birthday cake.
Well, what a jerk. Like, why would he, like, that's just.
He was an Aryan Nation member.
Yeah. But you got to think through that. I mean, unless you're planning on your kids, like, never leaving your compound, you know. But then again, like, the couple people that I would confirm in my life were, like, super racists. It doesn't exactly collect the highest IQ people.
No.
The ones with the highest IQ are the ones usually directing the useful idiots. And then the rest of them are pretty low IQ, to be honest.
Yeah. So
or trauma, major trauma.
That's
in their
true.
Life.
So yeah, after this whole Adolf Hitler birthday cake thing went viral, the government's like, hey, let's look into this guy a little bit. And then next thing you know, he went to jail for domestic abuse.
What do you know? Really?
What do you know?
I'm not surprised.
So Heath Hitler served his time in that case, but later went to court in an attempt to reclaim his children after getting out of prison. So my question is, what would you wear to court if you had to go?
Probably not what he wore, and I'm guessing it's not good.
Yeah, he showed up in full Nazi regalia.
Yeah.
Straight up Nazi uniform, SS
I mean,
uniform.
you can. I don't know. Like, I know that there are certain marketplaces and stuff where if you had historical Nazi memorabilia or some kind of historical, like, there's a lot of marketplaces that won't take them and stuff. But I don't know that it's illegal to dress up like a Nazi.
Hey, if they can do it for movies, why not? Why can't you do it?
Yeah, good point. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we have a few more. Harry Balls.
Oh my gosh.
That's a real name, Harry Balls. Fort Wayne, Indiana. They found themselves in a bit of a pickle. A bit of a pickle with Harry Balls. When residents went to vote for the new name for a county building. They were going to rename a building. Most everyone voted for the building to be named after Harry Balls, a 4-time mayor who had died in office in 1954. And to be clear, he himself is the one who said, yes, that is the correct pronunciation of my name. It is literally Harry Balls. It's spelled Baals. So people are like, let's just say it different. And they're like, nope. He used to correct people who tried to say it different. He's like, no, my name is Harry Balls. So that's what it was. He would correct people all the time. So it had been a reoccurring joke in the county for a long time, but the county officials just, even though that was the popular vote, they kind of didn't like that, even though it was named after a real person. Next, we have James Bond.
That's a fun one.
So James Bond, the fictional British Secret Service agent in Ian Fleming's spy novels, was named after a real-life person. Want to know what his name was?
Ian Fleming.
Yes.
Really?
His name is James Bond.
Oh.
That's who he named James Bond after. So the real James Bond was an ornithologist who worked at Philadelphia's Academy of Natural Sciences from the 1920s until 1989. He was one of those old-timer dudes, like the 80-year-old who's still rolling into work all the time.
Wow.
The real James Bond also wrote several books about the birds that he studied. One of the books is Birds of the West Indies in 1936, from which Ian Fleming borrowed the scientist's name for his fictional character. Fleming wanted a dull name for his character, and the real-life James Bond, the ornithologist, was a perfect one.
Yeah.
So he literally took that guy's name. But later, when the James Bond character became popular, this guy had some issues. He was actually stopped at an airport, and they said they thought his passport was fake
Really?
because it was the name James Bond. They're like, this is fake. This is obviously a fake passport. And it's just like, no, he's named. Like, try saying that. No, he's just named after me. Then
Yeah.
you sound even crazier, right? Even though it was true. But it's like, oh no, that guy, he's named after me. It's like, you look like a nerd. You're an ornithologist.
Yeah. It's like the guy you like. I'm the reason he exists.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure, Batman bin Superman.
Yeah.
Sure.
So here's the last one. One more
Okay.
and we're done.
All right.
ISIS. ISIS and Chali, to be specific, is actually a common name for girls in the United States until the terrorist group came along. So in 2014, ISIS was actually the 705th most common name in the United States. Then, after ISIS became popular, all of a sudden that name dropped down to the 1,770th, according to birth records. So one lady in particular, Isis Anchali, discovered the bitter consequences of sharing a name with a terrorist group after Facebook banned her on suspicion for being a terrorist just because her name. So she only regained access to her account after submitting her passport photo 3 times. She had to send them her passport 3 times before they're like, oh, this is real. So it wasn't just humans who were caught up in the ISIS naming issue. There was also businesses that had the name ISIS in it during this time. And they saw really drastic decreases in sales for some reason. Thanks, terrorists.
Well, it's got again, it's like the swastika or anything like that. Like ISIS was a Greek god, or
Yeah.
Greek, I think Greek. So it's like
Egyptian, maybe?
You're right. Yeah,
Oh,
Egyptian.
Sora schooled us.
Sora got it. There we
Yep.
go.
Sora
the
knows
New
what's
Kingdom,
up.
1550 to 1070 BCE. Yeah, so it's like we could have an ick around something, but we're probably not the first to think of it. When you mentioned Bond, it reminded me of a thing. Have you ever heard of diacope?
No.
So it's oftentimes used as a literary device for us to help us remember things. So people all remember, like if you said, give me a line from James Bond, what would you say?
Shaken, not stirred.
Okay. Exactly. So shaken, not stirred is one. Another example is Bond, James Bond. Here's a couple others. Burn, baby, burn,
Oh, okay.
or run, Forest, run. So diacope is a collection of words, a simplified phrase that we associate with something because of the way it's assembled.
Mhm.
And so yeah, burn, baby, burn, run.
Makes it sound good in your brain, so it sticks.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really leveraged diacope. No, mine are like, here we go. And
Here we hear.
here we hear. Operator, I'm operator. Nah, it doesn't work. It makes you sound simple-minded.
So that was my little spiel on problematic names. But what did you bring for our earballs?
I brought something. I'm kind of on a kick on like really amazing women from history. Like I'm enjoying finding them because
Like Bruce Jenner?
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean Caitlyn. I'm sorry, Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, fun fact to know and share. Did you see that? Like, I don't know how, I don't know anything about it beyond the headline and a little video that I saw. But in the world's strongest woman competition, a dude just won it. I don't care how you feel. I just super don't care how you feel about the whole gender thing. That right there, that should be the number one sport where you shouldn't let men in. Is world's strongest. We're gonna win.
Like it or not, we have this thing called testosterone.
We're gonna win. There's just
and
no
it's
two ways
100
about
times
it.
more.
And so the little video that follows the headline of man wins world's strongest woman competition, it's so sad because the video is of the awards stand, 1, 2, 3, gold, silver, bronze, whatever. And it's the number 2 woman who's strapped like
She'd beat me up for
she's
sure.
tough as heck. But you can just see it in her eye. Like she's worked so hard to be there. And she's talking under her breath and looking at this giant on the first place stand.
It's like half Thor.
Oh my gosh. Like there's no, it doesn't matter that he's on, I don't know. We can have a conversation all about trans and I'm all about it. And I don't get very vocal about trans. But if we're going to put a limit, that's where I draw the line. I'll get really vocal about world's strongest. Come on. Anyway, she walks
start
off
a whole
the
new
podium.
category, then fine.
I'm excited about that. Like I want to see steroid game. Like I want to see body modification competition. Like I want to see that.
Like it's the same thing of like it's why weight class exists in fighting, right?
Yeah.
It's the same reason on why a weight class exists. So it's like there's a scientific, there's a biological reason for why weight class exists. And so it's like I'm fine. Set up a whole new thing, like a whole new class. That's fine. Then you don't have to worry about any of this stuff anymore. Like it's a different class. Like there's the men's class, there's a women's class, and then there's the trans class. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
So the question in the back door, was like, where do you draw the line? Black women have been banned for naturally higher testosterone. That's racist. What are the rules? The rules are, if you think I'm mean, you should talk to the Olympic Committee for the upcoming Olympics. They've now said biological males are not allowed in female sports. That's the line. We live in crazy town. We live in crazy town if we are looking at anything beyond biological for this conversation. You can argue it all day long. We can argue the social and other constructs and attributes around this, but the Olympics is is 100% about biological, maybe equal to the mental faculty that it takes to get you to the Olympics, I might argue. But I'm sorry. Like, if you hate me for saying that, just okay, fine. But world's strongest? Come on. Where do you draw the
Where do you draw the
line?
Because why can't I go play high school basketball or high school football with these kids that are literally a third of my size and just start trucking dudes?
Stare a woman in the face. Be a woman and have your thoughts on trans ideology and trans people. Stare a woman in the face that has worked her entire life to be world's strongest woman, and tell her she didn't deserve it when she's beaten by a man. You cannot couple that. I'm sorry, you can't. There's no two ways about it. And if you think I'm mean, okay. But I there's certain things, like, I don't think people should have to say, well, I'm not racist, I've got lots of black friends. Like, you shouldn't have to say there shouldn't be a qualifier. The way you lead your life should be the definition of how you are around other people. And I'd like to think I live that way. And my record's not sullied when it comes to the way I respect and honor the people around me into my life and everything. That's a miscarriage of justice there. Like it, and the look on number 2's face when she walked off the podium, like, it was so sad. It was so sad. You could say, anyway, just, oh, how did I get on that? I lit up the back door. I think we're going to have a fight.
Fight.
Because I was talking about amazing women, right? So,
yeah.
I'm working very hard on a 10-part series on a certain amazing woman. And wow, I'm loving it.
Careful how you say that, because that could sound really weird.
A 10-part series on an amazing
really
woman.
hard.
Working really hard. Oh.
I'm working really hard.
I'm working diligently on chronicling the life of a certain amazing woman, and I'm really excited about it. It's a 10-part series. I'll put it out sometime when it's done. But history is rife with examples of women who really were facing down patriarchy and were facing down societal norms where their greatness and their exceptional nature was stifled by the way the world worked at the time. And we can hate it today. We can say that's bad. We should have learned our lesson in a lot of cases, and I think we did. And so today I wanted to talk about one gal, and I'm extracting this from our friends. These people super don't know we exist, but the people over at allthat'sinteresting.com, about Emily Roebling. So Emily Roebling's husband was the chief engineer of the Brooklyn Bridge. We've all heard of the Brooklyn Bridge. Not many of us know the significant feat that went into designing and constructing and finishing the Brooklyn Bridge. Her husband was the chief engineer of the Brooklyn Bridge, but when he fell ill, just after construction kicks off, Emily steps in and spent over a decade working as his liaison, supervising the site and ensuring that the structure was built to his specifications. So Emily Roebling was the first person to cross over the Brooklyn Bridge after its completion in 1883. That wasn't just by chance. So her husband, Washington Roebling, was, like I said, the chief engineer during the construction of the bridge, but he fell ill from something called decompression sickness just a couple years into the project. So despite having no formal training as an engineer, Emily takes the reins. So for over a decade, Emily Roebling acted as a liaison between her husband and the construction site. She passed instructions to workers, she asked questions, she supervised the project and attended the board meetings. She even learned a thing or two about engineering, which you'd have to, from things like stress analysis, and even like how the cables should be placed and proper cable placement for the bridge. So when the Brooklyn Bridge officially opened in 1883, Emily was lauded as the driving force behind its completion. Forever, she was then tied to the legacy of the iconic New York City landmark. So Emily Warren Roebling was born about an hour north of New York City in 1843, and her family was fairly wealthy and she was well educated, particularly and exceptionally for a young girl at the time. Money can do amazing things, even when society says no. When the Civil War broke out, Emily's brother, I'm going to ruin his name, but it's Gouverneur, but I think it's Governor Warren, another kind of an impressive, maybe not unfortunate name in that case. I'd love to be named governor. That's kind of fun. He raised a local regiment for the Union Army and rose through the ranks to become a major general. In 1864, Emily visited Governor and attended a ball held for the soldiers. That's where she met Washington Roebling, and she married him the following year. So in 1867, Washington's father, John A. Roebling, started designing what would become the Brooklyn Bridge. That year, Washington and Emily Roebling traveled to Europe to learn more about caissons. Caissons, these are watertight chambers that are built in like lakes and rivers and oceans or other bodies of water that allow for the construction of underwater structures like bridge piles and foundations. So if you've ever been like on something that's on the water, a great example are the bridges that cross in Seattle, like over the. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the name? Oh my gosh. But there's several bridges. Some are floating actually over there, but caissons are the things that hold the pylons or pillars to the ground. So when they came back, John, her husband, fell ill with tetanus after his foot was crushed by a fairy while he was visiting the feud. I didn't know fairies were that heavy. I thought they were live little creatures from the woods, but apparently they're pretty heavy.
They all have British accents.
Apparently.
No matter where they come from.
But he was on the future side of the Brooklyn Bridge and his foot was crushed by a fairy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say like it bumped into the dock or something. I'm sorry. This is John, not her husband. This is John. So her father-in-law. A fairy bumps into his foot, crushes it, and he died because of that in 1869. But his son immediately picked up where he'd left off and was soon named the chief engineer. So Washington didn't fare much better than his father had, however. Around 1870, he developed decompression sickness from diving into the East River to inspect the bridge's caissons. He became bedridden from that, which you would have gotten like nitrogen poisoning. But Emily Roebling wasn't going to let this setback destroy her husband's dreams, or I guess in that case, her father-in-law's dreams too. They became her dreams. So despite not having any formal engineering training, Emily stepped up to help Washington complete the Brooklyn Bridge. She taught herself everything she could about bridge construction, and she visited the project site almost every day to supervise and pass on information from Washington. She took meticulous notes. She shared her findings with her husband. She asked him any question the on-site engineers had and carried additional instructions to the bridge each day. In fact, Emily Roebling was so knowledgeable about the project that some people even assumed she was the new chief engineer. Emily also advocated for her husband so he wouldn't be replaced, because that was a big risk. If there was anything that fell behind, this thing was a very expensive endeavor. So she'd attend board meetings in his stead and met with politicians and other officials to ensure that Washington could maintain his position. Finally, in 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge was completed, and the official opening ceremony was held on May 24th, and Emily Roebling was the first person to cross the bridge, with her carriage traveling just ahead of President Chester Arthur's. At the ceremony, Abram Stevens Hewitt, who's a politician and an industrialist who later would go on to become the mayor of New York City, he honored Emily in his speech. Hewitt called the Brooklyn Bridge, quote, an everlasting monument to the self-sacrificing devotion of a woman and her capacity for that higher education from which she had been too long debarred. Hewitt continued, the name of Miss Emily Warren Roebling will thus be inseparably associated with all that is admirable in human nature and with all that is wonderful in the constructive world of art. Emily Roebling's accomplishments didn't end with the Brooklyn Bridge, though. Once the Brooklyn Bridge was completed, Washington and Emily Roebling settled in New Jersey. But she was going to continue to make some waves. So she became involved in numerous women's causes, joining groups like the Daughters of the American Revolution. She also had a role on the board of lady managers for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, which I just talked about on a previous episode. I also like the name Board of Lady Managers. I think today that would be Boss Bitches, I think is what the board would be called. But she returned to Europe also. She attended the coronation of Tsar Nicholas II in 1894. She met with Queen Victoria in 96. And determined to get a higher education, she earned a law certificate from New York University. She published an essay on women's rights in the Albany Law Journal in 1899. Sadly, her inspirational life came to an end on February 28, 1903, when she died from stomach cancer at 59 years old.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's a
one
rough
of the worst
one.
cancers you can get.
So despite Washington Roebling's previous ill health, he lived on until 1927, remarrying 5 years after Emily's death. But she can't be replaced as the sole reason, in my opinion, that the Brooklyn Bridge was finished. If you want a great book on the Brooklyn Bridge, by an author that has made me a snob when it comes to historical writers, David McCullough, is in my mind the apex historian. Writes really thick books. If you're into thick books, if you like thick, David's your guy. He wrote the book The Great Bridge, and it is so worth reading. All of his books are, but in particular, The Great Bridge really lays that story out on Emily's role. And it's kind of sad to say that think about how many women would think about how much further along our society and innovation could be today had we not stifled women's abilities to succeed, to thrive back in the day. And that even in spite of that, those blockades, we have some amazing women that have risen to fame and awareness. And I just really think that's really cool. Like, it's really, I don't know the best way to put it. It's like, I think there's a certain inevitability when it comes to the human soul that some people are inevitably going to rise, and that some of these women that I'm finding and researching and writing about and all these things, they are an excellent example of, regardless of the norms or societal expectations or whatever, they are symbols that humans can rarely be stifled if we have a belief in our abilities and are circumspect in our desire to affect change. Like, I just love it. I just really love it. Anyway, that's what I brought.
I like it. Sorry, I was just replying to someone. Someone asked if a woman invented the first computer, and no, she didn't. But a woman, Ada Lovelace, wrote the first computer code that actually made the first computer work.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, she didn't invent the computer, but she basically made the computer that was already invented actually work the way it was supposed to work.
Properly.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a joint effort between two different people.
Yep. Yeah, that's another one is just making sure that we chronicle contributions.
Mm-hmm.
I love the story of Jack Black's mom. His mom was like fundamental in the Apollo.
Yeah, she's a NASA engineer.
Yeah.
And then it's funny hearing him talk about her because he's like, yeah, my mom's a NASA engineer, and then there's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's literally said that before, like, yeah, then there's me. He's like, I don't know what happened.
There's a really interesting story it's worth looking into. I think we might have even covered it here before on the show. While she's in the hospital birthing Jack, she's surrounded by all of her documentation and all of the manuals that are needed, and she's navigating the astronauts in space because nobody else could do it. She's cranking out Jack Black in the hospital while she's thumbing through manuals. Like, amazing. Also, like, that right there, I think, is a testament to the difference between men and women when it comes to just being sick. Like, we've all heard of like man colds, where it's like anything happens, we're like, oh my gosh, now I know what pregnancy feels like. We don't. But on top of pregnancy, Jack Black's mom can like navigate space.
Yeah.
I love that. Speaking of black people with black in their name, another one, I want to say it was Jack that brought it on when we had the Hugs podcast. I would say this, when I first heard this woman's name, that was the first time I was like, I need to find more. I need to find more amazing women. I need to find their stories. I want to tell more of their stories. Part of it is like, it was coupled at the time, Jack brought up Ada Blackjack and her story and her experience, basically being the only woman amongst this excursion to the across, I think it was into the polar regions, or no, I can't remember. It was an
Arctic expedition.
Arctic expedition. She's the only woman. These dudes are like killing each other and eating each other and everything. She survives. She's like totally amazing. It was, there was this, like, in my brain, there was this culmination at that moment, a kind of a perfect storm of finding out about Ada Blackjack and having this disgust for Hollywood's repurposing of things. Like, they apparently, just like during COVID, creativity went out the window. Writers that were good writers weren't getting their scripts approved for film.
Mm-hmm.
All of the studios, and it's to this way today. Even
have you heard?
They're playing it safe.
Yeah, there's a good interview with Matt Damon on that.
Yes,
where he talks about that.
Yep,
where he explains what's happening in Hollywood right now perfectly. Where he's just like, people want baked in audiences, So that's why you're seeing remakes of everything, because they're like,
Yep.
oh, it's safe because we already know people like the Ghostbusters, so we're going to make another Ghostbusters.
Yep.
We already know that people like this. So that's like when Dune was made, right? Even though
Yep.
it had a baked in thing, they're like, you need to do the whole trilogy in one movie because that's all we're going to greenlight you for. And he's like, no. And he's like, I'm going to make a trilogy because that's what I need. And they're like, well, we're only going to give you the first movie. So if it doesn't do well, then you're screwed.
Yep.
And so like, that's kind of the thought process in Hollywood right now is like, don't take any risks.
Yeah. And so they're not. And really it's, I'll oversimplify, but really I think what ends up becoming greenlit are what processes through the Excel formula spreadsheet best.
Mm-hmm.
And like on paper, if I said, hey, I've got two scripts, one is this brilliant new writer who's come up with an amazing movie script, we could own that and go to production, or a part 3 or a part 9 of Jaws.
Yeah.
The guy that runs the analysis, the forecasting, he's going to run it and go, well, okay, the reason Jaws wins is because you have multi-generational appeal all the way back to the people that saw the first Jaws. They're boomers. They have discretionary income.
Mm-hmm.
All the way to now, Jaws is still a recognizable brand. He would make the argument, be like, do Jaws 9.
Mm-hmm.
And the studio would be like, okay, so they have, you're right. So they're working off of analysis rather than, there's other factors too, but that's why we're seeing prequels and sequels and remakes completely. It's sad.
Speaking of Jaws, did you ever hear about the actor who plays Alex Kintner and the lady who plays his mom? Did you hear that they met like 30 years later on accident?
Who's Alex Kittner?
So the little
The
he's
boy?
yeah, the little boy.
Okay.
So he was attacked by the shark when he was in the raft, and his
Yeah.
mom,
Right.
like on the beach or whatever. Well, the lady who plays the actress, she went to like this, I can't remember where it was. She went to like this restaurant. It was like a whatever, and they had a Jaws sandwich on the menu. And she was like, "Oh, fun." She told the waitress, she's like, "Oh, funny thing, like I actually was in that movie. Like I had a small little role. Like I played whatever her name Kintner was on the show." And she goes, "What?" She's like, "Hold on a second. The little boy, it was his restaurant."
Really?
And so she goes, "I'm going to go get someone." So she goes back and he comes walking out and he goes, because I think it was called the Alex Kintner sandwich.
Oh, wow.
And so she's like, "I actually played Mrs. Kintner." And so he comes walking out, and he's just like, "Hey, it's me." And
It's
so
me.
they had like this little reunion. They hadn't seen
Aw.
each other since they did the filming.
I love that.
And so, yeah, he's just like, "Yeah, it's me."
I
And
love
she's
that.
like, "I played your mom."
Okay, if you want an episodic small run series on Jaws, there's a podcast on Wondery called Inside Jaws, and it's all about the making of the movie and kind of the rise of Spielberg and everything. Super worth listening to. It's so good. It's so good.
It's also, I think they still do it. They show Jaws on a floating screen in the bay where it was filmed, and you can go out there and watch Jaws floating in like tubes and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, like every year they do a screening of Jaws on a big old huge floating screen, and yeah, you sit.
You sit
Like
in
imagine
inner
how
tubes?
like you're sitting in inner tubes
Oh, I couldn't do
and
it.
watch Jaws in that same bay.
No, I could not do it. Could not do it. I was fortunate enough. I went to Universal Studios, the theme park,
Mm-hmm.
when they still had Jaws, the Jaws ride, and the trolley would go out over the water, and then Jaws would do his mechanical next to you.
Yeah.
But he was so worn that it was only a couple of years later that they ended up taking down the ride. I think they took it down. I don't think it's there anymore. But even during the movie, like one of the most amazing things is finding out how much of a pain in the butt that animatronic was. And there was like 6 or 7 of it. And they hated working with it.
The
because
Jaws ride, just so you know, it's gone now.
Is
It's
it gone?
now Diagon Alley.
hey, that's kind of crazy. If you think about it, it's kind of crazy. Like you go there and you're expecting to appear in the middle of the water, and suddenly you're in an alleyway. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. Kind of. Yeah, but no, they. I'm totally. I'm embarrassed about this, but I'm blanking on the name of the robot, the Jaws. So it's like it starts with a B. It's like Ben or Brutus or Barnaby.
Bruce.
Bruce. What a name. What a name. Bruce. But
It's
yeah, they
named
hated
after Steven Spielberg's lawyer.
really?
Yeah, Bruce Raymer.
Yeah. And I want to say, like, and when you said that, it's familiar. So that's got to be in that series because that's where I got all my information about Jaws and the history of the movie. Totally worth watching though, if you're into that kind of thing. Anyway.
Oh, and then that's why the shark's name Finding Nemo. One of
Oh,
the shark's
Bruce.
names is Bruce.
Okay.
And it's literally from that. It's from Jaws, like the naming the shark Bruce.
Yeah, that's fun. Brucey. Oh. Anyway, that's what I brought. My heart hurts a little. I hope I didn't offend anybody about my strong feelings about men and women's sports. No, it's just not for me. It's not for me, and you know who it's not for? It's not for women either. It's not. But love you all. And that's all. I think that's all we got, Chase, for this episode.
Yep. That's all I got.
Next one will. Ooh. Next one's a holiday, so
It's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we either need to do it before or after. I am very embarrassed. I apologize. We are way behind on me submitting these to the public. So if you're here in the back door, all 14 of you, you might have noticed. I'm sure you noticed because you don't see it hit your feed, but it's maybe less noticeable to you because you're in the back door and everything. But I'm working feverishly while we're sitting here and at my kitchen table releasing these episodes to the public. I don't even want. Okay, I'm going to tell you. So episode 325 is what we're doing right now, and I'm releasing 315 right now also. So I'm going to post a bunch in kind of a glut, like a binge giving.
So that way people, if you don't want to talk to your weird uncle at the table, you can just pop in your headphones and listen to Neverdaily instead.
Yep. A little bit of a plea pitch. If share our podcasts with your friends if you can. Reason I say that is because I'd love to be able to say, please tell your friends to join our Patreon, but nobody joins a loyal paid following if they don't know the show. That, so us keeping the lights on is a circuitous process. And we have some amazing loyal supporters. I don't know the best way to put this. Podcasting has changed.
Yeah.
And
it's corpo now.
It's very hard for podcasts that have been around for a while, like 911, Neverdaily, to find traction with the podcast players because we're old. We've been around and we're not fresh and shiny to the algorithms. It's unlike social media where I know now how to market for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok algorithms. And to the algorithm, I can look shiny and new, like with my next post, where I might have all my posts have 300. And I know how now to post a post and within an hour get 10,000 because it's manipulating the algorithm. Podcasting is not that easy. It's not that easy. And people that listen to podcasts all have their favorites. We're kind of, we kind of dig in, heels dug, get our favorites. Help other people find us as their new favorites if you can. If you feel a certain way about our shows, share them with your friends. Easy way to do that, a little memory trick. that I like to tell people when they say, how can I help? I say, think of the people in your life where they could have headphones in their head or do for their job. Those are a massive slice of our loving fan base, our loving family, and our community are people that keep us hooked into their earballs all day long. So a little bit of a sending a message to heaven, help us keep the lights on.com, rated R. Anyway, I hope
theater
everybody
near you. A dollar theater near you.
in a $5 theater near you. You give $5, you get our back door. We're the lot lizards of podcasting.
I used to love going to the dollar theater.
Oh,
They used to have one of those where I lived. It was the best.
My dad and I used to go all the time. We'd go together. But we kind of had a tendency to go watch what we knew were going to be terrible movies.
Yeah.
Like we went and saw Action Jackson one time. We walked in the theater, the dollar theater, right? We walk into the dollar theater. We know we're going to go see Action Jackson. We are looking forward to how bad it could possibly be. This tells you how much we were committed to this endeavor. We walk in, there's like one of those sandwich boards at the front. It's like late July, sandwich board right as you walk in. It says air conditioners are broken. Not one blink. We were like, oh, we're definitely doing this. We were like, this is going to solidify this as one of the worst experiences ever. And it paid off. Oh, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
One of the only times I ever wanted to ask for my money back was at a dollar theater. So that tells you how bad the movie is when I'm going to go make a stink to get a dollar back.
Yeah.
It was The Circle. That's the name of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
With Tom Hanks and, Emma Watson in it.
Yeah. And
it is one of the worst, like, I just looked it up. It has a 5 out of 10 on IMDb. It has a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
And it literally, like, you got to the end of the movie and I was like, did a 6-year-old write this script who was trying to be like, this is what an adult would think and say and do in this situation. If I was adult, I would do this. Like, that's literally how the whole script felt. And I'm like, how do people like Tom Hanks read this script and go, yep, I'm going to do that.
I'm in. Yeah.
It was just the plot. You're just like, none of this makes sense.
I wonder if you go back and you look at it, because I'm of the firm opinion that if there is like a secret society in Hollywood, Tom Hanks is a guilty member. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I wonder if you go back and you look at like when people think he may have been first like sucked into the cult. I wonder if it lines up with that movie, because it's like sometimes you're like, did you get blackmailed? Like, is this court ordered? Why are you doing this movie? That reminds me. So I don't know why. This is like, we went and saw Action Jackson, Dollar Theater, air conditioning's out. Super memorable, right? It made the cold Dr. Pepper at Carl's Jr. afterward so worth it. It was amazing. Okay, I kid you not. We go back to the Dollar Theater. It's like a year and a half. I don't know how long it was. It was after Action Jackson. But we go to the theater to see Undercover Brother. And we walk in, sandwich board, air conditioning's out. We're like, at that point, we had experienced the torture. We knew what we were getting into. Very exquisitely. We still went. And it was worth it. It was worth every penny, every moment, every sweat bead.
Someone said Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I have to remind everyone that the Alamo bought one of the bikes.
Did they?
They did. It's real. It's not a fake thing. The Alamo went and bought one of the bikes they used in the filming of the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and they're building a exhibit for it.
That's
because
awesome.
So many freaking people use that joke, like, where's the basement? Like that they literally went and they had the opportunity to buy one of those and they bought one of the ones used in the movie and they're going to display it.
They should. I don't want to, like, this would be amazing if the Alamo's listening. What they should do is the exhibit should just be the bike on the floor with like a rope around, it.
Yeah.
With a false door on the wall that just says basement. That would,
yeah.
that's all you need. You don't need any more. Just that. And
Yep.
it's a perfect Easter egg.
That's
Oh
the
man.
best. When I found out about that, I was like, that's amazing.
That's amazing. All right. Well, we will determine whether or not we're going to be early this week or late this week for the next episode. And on that episode, we'll do another Music Tuesday on Thursday. I'm gonna be coming with some movies I've watched lately, favorites, what's been good, what hasn't been. And so lots to talk about on the next one. So stay tuned, tell your friends. Start from Chase. If you had to tell people to start Almost Fiction from the latest episode or the earliest episode, what would you tell them?
The latest episode.
Yeah.
Because I had no experience in the first ones.
Yeah.
Like I had zero experience, so it's rough. It's pretty rough.
Yeah. I wonder, like, my sister-in-law, unbeknownst to me, started just soaking up all of the 911 calls episodes. And a while back, we're at a family thing. She comes up, she's like, I've been listening to you and it was hilarious because she was like, oh, and you said one time you said this. And then from that point forward, she's like she's texting me, funny things that happen and everything. And it didn't dawn on me like which end she started from. And she had started from the beginning and she hadn't gotten all the way through the Jack episodes yet. And I was like, oh, things take a turn.
Spoiler alert.
What? Yeah. And then she got into the Kents and everything. And then I was like, oh, things take a turn. So I'm always kind of on the fence on which way I tell people start at the new ones or start at the old ones. But anyway, share our things with people that have a lot of earball time.
Yeah.
And until next time, super soup, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
So soup, soup.